Okay, so our girl Danica has been rejected for the fifth time, and I'm going to get into it now. As we know, Danica has been coupled up in the villa with Billy recently. They have kind of a lukewarm connection, but they have been exploring that, and they had actually been intimate recently. So it came as a surprise to Danica when during a Snog, marry, or pie challenge, Billy did neither or none of those three to Danica, and it was a really humiliating experience, I think, for her, because although it is banter and it's a kind of fun activity for the contestants to participate in, it's also a moment of acknowledgement. You acknowledge the connections or the people, the relationships that you have with the people in the villa. And so for him to not choose her at any level to either snog, marry, or pie, I think he chose to snog Gemma, which showed that he does fancy her after all. And then he married Paige and said she's wifey material. I think that alone is, quite humiliating to Danica. But then for him to not even pie her as a joke, like he didn't acknowledge her, so it's almost as if she's irrelevant. It just came across as really bad, and it's bad when even the guys in the villa, everyone from Dammy saying it was bad, to Luca saying to Billy you didn't do the right thing, to Adam piping up and saying no, you messed up there, to even Deji saying you were a bit of a you know um a bit of a D head or whatnot, for doing that. I think everyone acknowledged and saw what he did, and it was so wrong, especially after they were intimate together. So what you're seeing here in this picture is Danica finally, and it's awful to see, like she was holding up really well, but after this fifth rejection, she's a human being and she's completely broken down here during a conversation on the daybed with Summer and Indiyah about what's happened. Um, and she said, I need to stop convincing myself that these people want to develop a connection with me. And she was saying, why don't I deserve that? Not one person genuinely wants to get to know me personally, and I just don't understand. Girl, I don't understand it either. I think this girl's absolutely gorgeous. It is crazy the way in which she is continuously being rejected and remaining unseen by these guys in the villa. When I think of her, I literally think of Baby, I just don't get it. Like literally that beginning of that Mario record. That's literally all I think. It's so weird. We all know on the outside world this girl is would be flames. Any guy would be lucky to have her. It's absolutely ridiculous at this point. I don't know what to say. So initially, Danica did pull Billy in for a chat about the fact that he failed to acknowledge her in the challenge, but it was very immature. At first he was saying look at me, and he laughed, and he said no, stop, and he said I know you're thinking, I know what you're thinking, and he just dug himself a hole. It was really immature. And she did say to him, I get that it's a game, it's a bit of banter, but at the same time, I've been through all of this before, and I'm all for having fun. But when it gets to the point where I'm getting hurt, and she was, basically saying that that's crossing a boundary. And we got Billy saying that he'll be real. I'm not feeling that romance. It doesn't mean I'm not going to feel it. Now, this is the point where I wished that Danica would just interject and say, hold on, you've just, treated me like I'm disposable. And, she should have just said what she really felt then. But unfortunately, she just said, yeah, I understand, it's cool. And I felt really uncomfortable at this point because it was obvious that it wasn't cool. He mistreated her, he did it in front of everybody to see, and it was not cool at all. And her just saying it's cool, it just really unsettled me. I felt really bad for her. She let it slide, and yeah, it was just really an unsatisfying thing to watch, given how she kind of let him off so easily in that scenario. However, I have to give massive props to my girl Ekin-Su. Ekin-Su, brought her in for a little chat and said, do you know what? You need to stand up for your rights. How he's treated you has not been right. You need to let him know. I loved that. Like, I thought that pep talk was literally the pep talk that anyone's had of this season. It was so needed, and it gave Danica such a push, that I was shocked at what I saw next. And basically, she went back to Billy and said, "Actually, I'm not okay." And I was like, "Yes, Danica, you need this, girl, and like you deserve this kind of this moment of, just, oh, I just, it was amazing." So, she said, "You don't grasp how wrong that was to do," because basically he also went and told the boys that they were intimate the other night. I don't know exactly what went on between them, but there was some kind of physical intimacy in the bedroom. And Billy went off and told all of the other boys, which is absolutely disgusting, especially knowing that he's not that serious with her, not even into her. The misogyny, as I've said before, in this series is absolutely disgusting. They're literally treating women like disposable items, especially I'd say that the girls that aren't the OG girls, the Casa Amor girls, were treated like abominably. You saw that with Summer and Deji the other night, but even the way, like we said, Jackson Page, etc., and Gemma and Luca, but I'm here to talk about Danica in this video. But he basically, Billy started to tell Danica to chill, and she was like, "Do not tell me to chill." Um, and she said, the other girls have been opening her eyes to see how wrong he's been. And Billy just kept interrupting her. And at one point he was saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, this is mad, this is mental." Basically denying her feelings and not allowing her to vent about how she feels used by him. Again, another gaslighting tactic. I wonder where we've seen this before in this series. At this point, the men in this villa are all feeding off of one another with this behaviour, and it's disgusting. And then she was swearing because she was frustrated because he wasn't allowing her to vent or get her feelings out and made them be known. And he said, "I'll stop swearing, otherwise I'm not going to talk to you," and basically attempting to control her tone. And she rightly said, "You're not my mum, you're not my dad, why can't I swear?" And he said, "Oh, it's rude." But my thing is, one, Jax told him to F off the other night, and his mouth was agape and open like he was catching flies, but he couldn't find the words to say anything back to Jax. But when it's a woman, all of a sudden, "Don't swear." How dare he tell her what to do and try and, adjust or control her tone? But also, does he not think it's rude to use someone for sexual gratification? I think that's rude. I think that's ruder. And the entitlement that some of these men have shown to some of these women's bodies and used access to them in a sexual way whilst leading them on is just, it's not on at all. This needs to be called out. I have heard that women's charity, Women's Aid, have reached out to the show actually again about some of the antics of the men on this show in this series again, which I think is great. This awareness needs to be created about how the women have been treated this series and the double standards as well. But there's nothing worse, I think, than being led on by someone that you're seeing, being intimate with them, and only for them to then discard you after a sexual act. What Billy did was absolutely disgusting, like rotten. And it's the fact that he, didn't even allow her to have that vent was even worse. And she told him to shut up at one point, and did say, "You've gone and run to the boys and told them." And she said, I love that the last thing she said was, "I'm worth more than that. I don't give an F what you think of me." And that was when I just wanted to fist pump the air. This is what I've been feeling about this girl the whole season. This girl is an absolute gem. She's so sweet. She's absolutely stunningly gorgeous. The show doesn't deserve her. I don't understand why she's been continuously rejected now by the fifth guy. It was Josh last week, who, good riddance, now is gone. I know she's in the last four. I think she's going to make it because it's up to the other islanders. There's no way they're going to keep Summer over her, so I think she's safe. I really do. But I just don't get it. Actually, I say I don't get it, and what it is that on that show, it's a microcosm, which means it's a tiny version of a part of society. And basically it's a part of society where girls like Danica are overlooked despite being stunningly beautiful, and girls like Paige are fawned over for, yeah, being fairly pretty, but nothing much else. And it is what it is. I think Danica needs to just get out there when she's finished, and she needs to find the people who appreciate her, and she will. Trust me, she will. She will find, I think, a lot of kind of good attention and affirmation outside of the villa. She seems like a wonderful person. One thing I did think is Ekin-Su, in one scene, Ekin-Su said, "Oh, I can hear Danica from all the way over here. She's got a loud voice." And I'm wondering, and other people have picked up on it, about Danica's how can I say it? She has like a tone like she's giving a job interview. I think I've seen people say on Twitter, and I think possibly that could be off-putting and difficult to maybe form a connection with somebody who's always speaking in a formal manner, and quite loudly, and that's a possibility of what's putting the guys off. But still, how she's being treated is not the one. I'm not here for it at all, and I think she did herself so proud tonight. I'm so proud of her. So let's jump in and see what Twitter has been saying. Danica has cracked. OMG, this isn't even just about Billy. This is weeks worth of tension blowing up. Exactly, I get it. This girl has been rejected and get discarded over and over, and she's continuously like gone on this kind of robotic quest, almost like, just tunnel vision, and just trying to keep her spirits up, and just, moving on to the next, and always continuously being positive. And it's like, girl, you're allowed to, just feel like, I'm not okay at this moment. Like, and that's what happened today. Someone else said, Billy is a perfect example of boys who are never held accountable for their ish, because they can make you laugh. He's not funny, he's not cute, he's bloody annoying. Get him out. Agreed. He needs to go, and I think he will go, especially after the stunt he pulled with Danica. Although I'm thinking, oh, they might make Deji go home. I don't know. I'm hoping for Danica's sake they'll kind of strategically be fair and think, he's done wrong. And Luca obviously doesn't like Billy as well, and he's got a lot of pull um, in that house, whether we like it or not. Someone else said, stop swearing, but when Jax told you to F off, what did you do, Billy? Exactly. And the last person, Billy is so disgusting. I want to throw my shoe at him. Me too, my dear. Like, it's also the fact that, Billy is not the most attractive guy in the world, and I'm being really kind here. I'm not going to come for someone physically, but the fact that he seems to have an ugly personality, it's coming out as well. It's just really awful. Like I said before, I think there's a massive hierarchy in that group. You have the cool kids, which is like, Paige, um, Paige and whoever she's with, which is Adam now, but it was her and Jax, and then Gemma and Luca, and then around that, Luca's really tight um with Dami. So then by default you've got Indiyah, and you've got those links with Tasha and Andrew. Those are like literally the cool kids of the villa, and then you've got, like, but anyone outside of that is literally on the periphery, and it just means that they don't get preferential treatment. I also feel like the attention that Paige gets, it's almost like it's catching like self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, once someone has said she's hot, it's like everyone then believes it. And Paige is a very pretty girl, but I think the way in which the men are fawning over her and saying, oh, she's wifey material, I think they said that the other night, and all agreed. I just found it really odd. I just don't understand where the intrigue is for someone like Paige, who actually has shown herself not necessarily to be that dynamic, and sometimes, quite bitchy. Not that men care about that kind of thing. But then you've got someone like Danica, who is like hot to the hilt and just completely ignored. But like I said, Danica's going to get everything good that's coming to her. I wish her all the best when she leaves that villa. I'm actually excited to see her journey. She's a gorgeous girl, stunning. She has so much energy. Like, you saw her at the party tonight, just like shaking her thing. She's just full of charisma, and I'm really happy to just see her, continually having a positive mental attitude. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about how Billy's treated Danica? Do you think he's going to go? Do you think she'll stay? Or do you think she's also out of there now? Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and let me know what you think. And I'll see you on the next video.